Hey there, in this video I'm going to be talking about the feat Master of the Wilds, and this feat is a new feat for update 29. It's an epic feat and part of a whole group that fit a theme of generally speaking taking the SLAs of a caster class and increasing their caster level of those. So the way Master of the Wilds specifically reads is it says your Produce Flame, Creeping Cold, Call Lightning, and Word of Balance spells gain plus 10 to their maximum caster level. It also grants 140 extra spell points. So it doesn't affect like your Storm of Vengeance SLA and your Sunburst SLA, just the four that I said. So I'm going to try to explain how I believe that it works, which is different than the way that I read it, and there was some discussion in the Druid forum about it, which is part of the reason I'm doing this video, but I've been wanting to do this just out of my own curiosity to see if this feat was worth it. I love my Druids, and I think this feat has some potential to be pretty cool. So I'm going to give you the executive summary first, and I'm going to summarize the data that I collected in the testing that I did. So, the executive summary is that it's totally not worth it. This is complete garbage and a waste of time. Do not waste your feat slot on this piece of garbage. What I did was I took 10 data points for each of the 4 spells, 10 before I picked up the feat, and then 10 after I picked up the feat, and then I made sure I was in the appropriate season. So for example, I was in winter season when I was doing Creeping Cold, and summer season, Produce Flame. The season doesn't matter for Call Lightning and Word of Balance. I also got rid of the twist Empyrean Magic because when I was doing my Produce Flame, I didn't want it to scale up because of the Empyrean Magic as I was casting more and more of those. So I'm not planning on publishing this in any scientific journal, so my methodology may not be perfect, but I think that it is going to give a more than good enough idea of how you can expect this to perform and the bottom line of whether or not it's worth it. And again, the answer is totally not worth it right now. But maybe there is a situation that it would be. So I'm trying to figure out a way to explain this so that it makes sense, and I'm just confusing myself because I'm not even exactly sure if I'm grasping it. But as far as I can tell, well, when I first read it, I thought that those spells would cast at 10 levels higher than they otherwise would. But somebody commented on the forum that that's not how it works. It would just add 10 to the caster level if your caster level was potentially that much higher. If that didn't make sense, don't worry. Just stick to the conclusion that it sucks. So for example, you have your epic destinies. Like if you're in a primal destiny, it says something like, each level you have of this epic destiny, like let's say Shirati Champion, it increases your druid or ranger caster levels 1 per level of the epic destiny. So if you're not in that destiny, you don't get those bonus extra caster levels. Now, I thought that they implemented a change where your caster level is going to be a function of your, well, epic levels would be taken into consideration and not epic destiny levels. But apparently that didn't happen. I thought that was supposed to happen in update 29. It did not. I thought it was a sure thing. Apparently not. Maybe they'll make that change. I hope they do, because that would be really awesome. So let's talk about the data. I'm going to go over each spell briefly and show you some numbers here and the difference that it made. So with Call Lightning, here's my 10 data points. Without Master of the Wild, that's W/OMW is without Master of the Wild. In my combat log, it said I was casting it at caster level 21. And with Master of the Wild, it said I was casting at caster level 22. And now I reorganized the data from the highest damage to the lowest for the 10 data points. So, the first number in each column for the Call Lightning, those were clearly crits. And then on the bottom right, the 637, I think that was the one time that the mob made it save. I was just doing spiders out in the Veil of Twilight, and I chose a simple mob because I wanted to make sure that it was just going to do full damage. They wouldn't make a save, but it looks like that one probably did. We rolled a 20. So the average without Master of the Wild, I was doing about 1150. And then on, well, I actually did the number, so it was 1167. And then with Masters of the Wild, it was 1406. So that's a 21% increase in the damage. Not very impressive in my opinion. So that's one caster level though. So if this worked the way that I thought it was going to, so in other words, without Master of the Wild, I'm casting at caster level 21. I thought that I would then be casting at caster level 31. That could potentially be really freaking awesome. But as it's working right now, working as intended, I'm not really sure. But as of right now, these numbers are completely unimpressive. So, moving on to Creeping Cold. With and without Master of the Wild, it didn't change the caster level. As the combat log said, caster level 25 in both cases. Here's my 10 data points before and after. An average of 629 without it and 614 with. So I mean, there's no. It's essentially the same. There was just no difference. So again, just not worth it. I just don't see the point. I guess maybe if you're running in the other Destinies, if you had some other abilities to increase your caster level. This is ridiculous. So let's move on to Produce Flame, where I was actually casting it 2 levels higher, caster level 17 versus caster level 19 without and with. So there's the 10 data points ordered from highest to lowest in each column. We had a 37% increase with the Masters of the Wild feat. Certainly unimpressive, and Produce Flame is such a simple little spell that, and this, by the way, was the SLA that I had all the metas on. So this is maximized, this is empowered, and with intensify spell. So all 3 of your metas that improve spell power in every case here. So, if you look at the averages, 486 to 666, well, that's, it's almost 200 more damage, but at the price of a feat, I don't think so. Not for such a simple spell, and for the limited range of spells that this applies to. Alright, let's move on to Word of Balance, in which the caster log did not indicate any caster level. Now, it talks about a caster level or doing damage per level in the spell description, but in the combat log it didn't say anything about what caster level I was casting at, so that's why it doesn't indicate here. So there's my 10 data points before and after. I think the upper left was clearly a crit. In this case, I was casting this spell on troglodytes in the Veil of Twilight, and I use troglodytes because they have alignment, whereas like the spiders that I was using Call Lightning on don't have alignment and it wasn't doing anything to them. But so there was no difference before and after, as far as I can tell, and actually just because of the die rolls, I'm guessing, or the fact that I had a crit in the first column, I actually did less damage overall with Masters of the Wild. So again, totally not worth it. So there you have it. At least for now, don't waste your time with this. Look for potential changes in the future. Hopefully Turbine will see how it's performing and see that it sort of doesn't make sense. Most, I think, caster druids are not running in a Primal Destiny. I'm not really sure if that would make a difference or not, but I run in Unyielding Sentinel, and I'm going to get rid of this feat as soon as I possibly can.